discussed several times over the years here on First about the growing presence of a tech scene here in Delaware. An event last weekend and one coming up next week in Wilmington could add to that growth. So for our first person segment this week, we welcome Zack Seward, a familiar face and voice from his time at WHYY and now with the group Technically Philly. Also here is Ben duPont, who is part of the tech competition known as Open Bracket. So welcome both to you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Shirley.
Ben, I want to start with you and talk about Open Bracket. We have a little video that we're going to be showing while we're talking about it of the opening night of the coding competition. Video's a little purple, but people get the idea. It was from the lights at the Queen. But a lot of people with laptops, tons of people.
Yes.
Coding, just sort of for everyone at home.
Yeah, so
the
look,
language
coding is a generic description of a software developer, and these are people that write lines of code and pretty much impact everything from the way your car functions to your cell phone to the hoagie you're going to buy tonight. So,
and you were saying every line of code starts with an open bracket.
Every line of code starts with an open bracket, hence the name Open Bracket.
So coding, is this now the new career?
I don't know that it's the new career, but it's a career where there are a lot of high-paying jobs, and it impacts almost every other industry. So I think if you work building automobiles, coding is going to be a key skill to do that. If you're making hoagies, I think, kid you not, I think software is going to play the bigger part of making a fresh hoagie than just about anything else.
So tell me about the purpose of Open Bracket, and do you feel like it was a success?
Absolutely, it was a success, a huge success. It really complements Zip Code Wilmington, and think of it this way. Open Bracket is working to bring high-end software developers across the country into Delaware, and Zip Code Wilmington is learning to grow our base of coders. And the two, I think, is a pretty powerful one-two punch for our community.
And real quickly, Zip Code Wilmington.
Zip Code Wilmington is a 90-day boot camp located in the Mill in downtown Wilmington. It takes people with no prior coding experience and gives them 1,200 hours of coding instruction in 90 days.
Wow.
And they come out on average earning with jobs that pay, I think, $68,000, $69,000, which is about 2.5x what they were earning 90 days earlier.
Wow.
It's $3,000 out of pocket, and had 367 applicants in the last cohort for 30 spots.
And Zach, you were saying that some coding schools had kind of maybe taken some missteps, but how was Zip Code Wilmington? What have they done right?
Yeah, we've covered it since its inception. I mean, it's really interesting to see. There's been a couple of high-profile coding schools that have closed in the last 2 or 3 months, and their model was we do the training and we send our graduates out into the world for them to find work as they will. The interesting thing about Zip Code that I think has earned recognition from even like the Obama administration, gave them a little daps, was they go in, they start the program with the end job in sight. So they work with the banks, they work with other technology companies who are looking to hire coders that are knowledgeable in certain programming languages. And it's a boot camp, right? They really hammer those languages into these new grads. So they're going through the program with a goal and an end job in sight, which I think is the innovative twist to what Zip Code Wilmington is doing. Technically
is the main organizer behind Delaware Innovation Week. Talk to me about what's being dubbed, it's a week-long celebration of tech and innovation.
Yeah, we do it, and it started in Philadelphia 6 years ago at this point. This is our 3rd Delaware Innovation Week. It's November 3rd to 11th. It's a week-long celebration. We're talking about 20-plus events. Technically itself, we organize sort of the 3-4 big tent poles of the week. So we have a business conference for you to take your business to the next level. We have a dev conference for coders and other developers to up their skills. And then we close it all out with a big closing bash called the Innovation Celebration. We do the Innovation Awards as a way to highlight some of the cool things that are going on in Delaware. So it's quite the event. I encourage you to come out and check it out.
Okay, yeah. Well, I will accept. So I'll put this question to the both of you, but I keep hearing how, the tech scene in Wilmington, it is growing, that, it's exploding. And I mean, I hear that all the time, but what do you think Delaware's done right to sort of nurture this growth? And either of you can jump in.
I think it's a combination of bottom-up and top-down support. I mean, from the bottom up, you have got organizations like Technically, which I think is making a maybe underappreciated contribution to the community from not only from its reporting, but Innovation Week. I think you've got organizations like the Mill, which are a place for startups to emerge. And if you walk in the Mill today, it's packed. I think you've got organizations like Zip Code, Open Bracket, and others. And I think that's the bottom-up piece of it. I think at the top you have very friendly political environment, Republicans and Democrats that I think are have the same end goal in sight, which is great jobs for people in Delaware.
But Zach, what does Delaware have to do? What more does Delaware have to do to kind of stay ahead of the game?
Yeah, I think the great thing about Delaware is that it's a small state and is using that to its advantage, right? We at Technically, we cover Philly, 4 other markets, including Delaware. You really see in Delaware sort of an ease. It's always easy to go from one person to the next to make those key connections happen. I think Delaware has done a good job of building the infrastructure, doing the if you build it, they will come kind of thing. And now it's just about it's just about supporting the ones that are growing, be that the Carvertises of the world or the Barn Creative, various tech firms that are growing businesses here in Wilmington. It's about finding those next connections for them to raise funding, to make more hiring. And on the talent end, it is, again, being able to hire people who are going to help grow those businesses on the technical side of things.
All right, very good. Zack Seward from Technically Philly, and Ben duPont, who has, among many hats, a part of the tech event Open Bracket here in Wilmington. So to learn more about Delaware Innovation Week in Wilmington, go to technically/Delaware. That's technical.ly/Delaware.